Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa. Yes. Let us chant from verse number 9 to 18 together. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajah karmani bharata jnanamavritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayatyuta rajastamaschabhibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajas sattvam tamaschaiva tamas sattvam rajastatha sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivruddham sattvamithyuta lobhav pravrittirarambha rajasyetani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshava aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivruddhe kuru nandana yada sattve pravruddhe tu pralayam yati deha bhrit tadottamavidam lokan amalan pratipadyate rajase pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate mudhayonishu jayate karmanas sukritasyahuhu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasah phalam sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramadamohau tamasah bhavato jnanamevacha urdhvam gachanti sattvasthaha madhye tishthanti rajasaha jaghanya gunavrittisthaha adho gachanti tamasaha. So in the 14th chapter, a detailed study of the various moods of the mind is taken up. This study is necessary in order to understand the working of the mind and thus get liberated. So what are the topics we have discussed till now? Mind has got three moods. What are the three moods? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So what are the characteristics of sattvic mind? It is interested in knowledge, it is peaceful, it is cheerful, it is dynamic, it is bright, brilliant. What about the rajasic mind? It is filled with all kinds of desires, all kinds of cravings. Right? And then Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, everything is there. Such a mind is a restless mind, filled with desires to indulge, craving for name, fame, power, position, etc. Such a mind is an extroverted mind, and such a mind will force you to action. Karma sangena badhnati. Such a person cannot keep quiet. What about a tamasic mind? Tamasic mind is filled with ignorance, delusion, carelessness, inadvertence, laziness, full of sloth and slumber. So these are the characteristics. So whenever we have these moods, we must know at present what kind of mood is going through in my mind. So these are all the lakshanas. So we have discussed characteristics, we have discussed how they bind us, we have discussed what is the end result. What is the end result of sattva? Peace of mind and knowledge. This is the end result. What is the end result of rajas? Greed, lobha and dukkham. Sorrow is the end result. What is the end result of tamas? Pramada, moha, ajnana. These are the end result. Then we were discussing gati. At the time of death, when a particular person is having a particular mood, where will he go? Marananantara gatihi. So when a person is having a sattvic mood at the time of death, where will he go? Uttama vidam lokan amalan pratipadyate. He goes higher. Urdhvam gacchanti sattvastaha. Higher means what? Higher worlds. Uttama vidam lokan. Where the knowers of the highest stay. Now here please understand, the knowers of the highest here doesn't mean the enlightened ones. Enlightened ones don't have anywhere to go. They are free, they are liberated. That topic we will discuss today, a little later. So if a person is not liberated, but if his mind is sattvic, he will go to the higher worlds. If a person is liberated, then there is no going and coming. So Uttama Vidam, the knowers of Uttama, Ishvara. Here Vidam, knowers, doesn't mean the knowers, it means Upasakas, the worshippers. The knowers of God need not go anywhere. They are free from birth-death cycle. So here Vidam doesn't mean knowers. Here Vidam means worshippers. So the sattvic people go to the higher worlds. Tamasic people go to the lower worlds. And what about the rajasic people? They remain in the middle. Madhye tishtanti rajasaha. Meaning they come back to the same world. Right. Now, all the three gunas bind us. Now, what does it mean, bondage? Now, here, Bhagavan is going to start the next topic. So, we will spend some time before entering into the next topic. All these three gunas, they are capable of giving us some kind of happiness. In what way does the tamo guna give us happiness? When we sleep, it gives us happiness, isn't it? There is peace, there is happiness. Nobody can deny it. And this peace, this happiness is addictive. Another lakshana of a tamo guna is lack of desire for work. He doesn't want to work. lazy, alasya. Isn't that also give happiness? That also gives happiness. Why not? Because whenever you exert, you get tired. Tiredness is definitely not happiness. So whenever you don't exert, it has to imply that it gives happiness, isn't it? Whenever you take up responsibility, what happens? If something goes wrong, people will blame you. So, the tendency not to take responsibility will give you happiness. Yes or no? These are the tendencies we find in people. They don't want to take up responsibility. Why? If something goes wrong, then people will blame me. And whenever I am blamed, I feel the pain. Isn't it? Whenever I am insulted, whenever I am criticized, there is a pain. So, what to do in order to escape from this pain? Don't take any responsibility. This is a tamasic attitude. So, the tamoguni person has got his own way of gaining happiness. What are the ways? Number one, never work. Because work is exhaustion, it is tiredness. So work only if there is absolute necessity. For example, hunger is there, thirst is there, food is needed. For food, money is needed. Okay, there is no other way, so work. A tamoguni person helplessly works. He has no choice. He doesn't like to work. So therefore his work is all shabby, incomplete, imperfect, done haphazardly, done carelessly. A third-rate work he will produce. Because he is not interested in work. Why is he not interested in work? Because he wants happiness. Remember, every person, whether he is a rajasic person, sattvic person or a tamasic person, they are all working for happiness. And they have their own definition for happiness. According to a tamasic person, what is the definition? Sleep, that is the highest happiness. The joy of sleep is the highest happiness. So therefore, how will he try to be happy? He will try to extend his sleep for longer. If he is not able to sleep, at least he will try to take more and more rest. He will idle away his time. Right? He will not take up any responsibility. He will not try to know anything. He will not try to do anything. He will try to remain inactive. This is how he will try to become happy. So, isn't there a desire? Now, the rule is, whenever you die with a particular desire, what does desire mean? It is all desire for happiness. Now, there is a particular definition for happiness. And according to that definition, you will try to live your life. So therefore, when a person dies, he will go to the worlds where this kind of desires can be fulfilled. And when he comes back, what kind of environment he will be born? He will be born with a tamasic mind, with a tamasic body, with a tamasic environment, wherein he can fulfill these desires. What is his desire? Sleep maximum, take maximum rest, and no responsibility. So this kind of environment he creates out of his own desire. His definition of happiness is laziness, sleepiness, etc. According to his definition, he will create an environment, he will create a mindset, and accordingly a body will be given to you, a body will be given to that person, so that he can fulfill these desires. Are you able to understand? The desire is the one which is creating the body, desire is the one which is creating the mindset, desire is the one which is creating the environment. Desire is the one which will create a situation for you so that you can fulfill those desires. Now what about a rajasic person? he also has a desire, because he also has a definition of happiness. What is his definition of happiness? Work hard. That is his definition. Because when you work hard, you become successful. When you work hard, you become successful. You get a lot of money. Money can fulfill all your desires. Fulfilling your desires means happiness. Living a comfortable life means happiness. Lot of luxury means happiness. Gaining name and fame, honor, etc. is happiness. Recognition from the society is happiness. Lot of money means lot of purchasing power. You are able to get with that money the best that the world can offer to you. You can get the best of comforts and conveniences. Therefore, money is very important. In order to get money, what you should do? Work hard. So there is a joy of working hard. There is a joy of success. There is a joy of conquering. There is a joy of winning. There is a joy of competing. There is a joy in indulging. Isn't it? So what is his definition of happiness? Work hard. Such a person cannot stand tamasic person. He can't even stand sattvic person. Tamasic person he cannot stand because he has understood tamasic person, because he has gone through tamas. Sattvic person he is not able to understand, so he misunderstands sattvic person to be a tamasic person. So therefore he thinks, I am the best. I know everything. My understanding is perfect. And with this, with full zeal, he works hard. So now he also has a definition for happiness. So what is his desire? More and more money, more and more name, more and more fame, more and more recognition. So then, what kind of world he'll be born after death? He'll be born with faculties which can work hard, with a body which is strong so that he can perform a lot of action, with a mind filled with talents and abilities in the chosen field. He'll be born in an environment where there is a lot of scope for putting forth effort. Lot of resources are there. He'll be born in an environment where he'll be served by so many servants. He'll be born in an environment where he will get lot of power, position, recognition. Because that is his definition. Are you able to follow? So every time you desire something, you are desiring for happiness. You are desiring for happiness according to your definition of happiness. Everyone has got a definition. If I get this, I will be happy. This is my definition. So according to that definition, you will have a desire. And according to your desire, the whole world is designed. Not only the world is designed, your equipments are also designed. The body is your equipment. Accordingly, your mind is also designed. So your Sukshma Sharira, the mind intellect, your Sthula Sharira, the physical body, and the environment is designed according to your definition of happiness, according to your desires. Now what about a sattvic person? Sattvic person gains the joy of knowing. Tamasic person's definition is joy through non-doing. Rajasic joy is joy of doing. Sattvic joy is joy of knowing. It can be in any field. For example, suppose there is a person who is a scientist. So he has developed interest in a subject. Now what happens when you go deeper and deeper into the subject? There is a joy of knowing, isn't it? Something you are not able to understand, it's a disturbance, and you put forth hard work, and suddenly some ideas click. You discover something. You know something which it was never clear to you before, which you never knew. So when you know something new, what is the experience? Isn't there a joy? Isn't it? Throughout our study career, from the school, college, whatever we do, there was something which I did not know. I started putting forth effort. And a time started coming when I started knowing it. I am able to understand it, and then there is a joy. Isn't it? Sukha sangena badhnati, jnana sangena chanaga. So there is jnana, there is sukha. So naturally, when I am gaining more and more joy through knowing, what will be my tendency? Knowing is happiness, so more knowing is more happiness. You are getting it? So what will be my desire? Let me know more and more of the subject in which I am interested in. So a person who is doing research, he will do more and more research, and the law of nature is wherever you put forth more and more effort, you start going deeper and deeper into that subject. It is a law. Wherever you put forth effort, you will succeed in that field. It's a law. So if it's the musician, he will try out various ragas, etc. He will be able to sing that way. There is more and more joy. So he will get addicted to that joy. Addiction to that joy means you will put forth effort more and more in order to know that. There is more knowing, there is more joy. That more joy will further inspire you to put forth more effort in knowing, and this way you keep on going. So at the time of death, what will be the kind of desire? If he is a musician, he will have the desire, let me know more and more of music. Let me hear more and more of music. If he is a scientist, what kind of desire he will have? Let me know more and more in my subject of interest. So what kind of desire he will have at the time of death? Let me know more and more. So now, in the next birth, where will he be born? If he is a scientist, he will be born in a family of scientists. Mother is a scientist, father is a scientist, the entire family is a scientist family. Right? At the very young age itself, he is exposed to all kinds of scientific, instruments, devices. His father will take him to different laboratories, and this child will be watching his father doing various kinds of experiments. Right? He will develop that interest. And suppose if he is born in India, and if there is no much support for his research, where will he go? He will go to the United States, where facilities are provided in order to do further studies. Isn't it? See? So if you take any subject, any mood, there is a particular desire. Basic desire is desire for happiness. But what is that happiness? How to gain that happiness? There is our own definition. A tamasic person defines happiness as not doing. A rajasic person defines happiness as doing. A sattvic person defines happiness as knowing. This is the only difference. Now the most important question is, as long as you have desires, rebirth cannot be ended. Rebirth cannot be stopped. Why? Because every desire shows that I want a particular environment, I want a particular mindset, I want a particular instrument in order to become happy. So whenever you are expressing a desire, you are as though asking God, oh Lord, I am not satisfied with this world. There is something more to do. So therefore give me one more chance. Are you getting it? Indirectly you are saying, oh God, I am not satisfied. Extend my lifespan. Now what to do? Physical body has to die someday or the other. So when you are dying with a desire, you are indirectly telling God, if only you could have given me a better opportunity, a better environment, a better instrument so that I can fulfill these desires and be happy. Right? Remember, as far as the sattvic mindset is concerned, it can be even the study of the scriptures. I have given only an example of music and science. It can be even the study of scriptures. There are people who say, if only I could study all these scriptures. I must study Bhagavad Gita, I must study Ramayana, I must study Bhagavatam. Now there is a desire. So will he be born again or not? Definitely he will be born again, because he is asking. He is asking for time, he is asking for talent, he is asking for an opportunity, and as long as you are asking, you will be born. Don't blame God. There are people say, only if I become a sannyasi, only if I join some ashram, only if I could get opportunity to study the scriptures, only if I become a Mahamandaleshwar, I will be happy. Only if I have so many devotees and disciples, I will be so happy. Remember, even the spiritual path can be a bondage. As long as you have desires, you have to come back in order to fulfill the desires. It can be sattvic desire, it can be rajasic desire, it can be tamasic desire. As long as you have desires, there is no choice, you will have to come back. Coming back means birth. Birth means disease. Birth means old age. Everything is painful. You will have to go through this. Now the question is, Bhagavan, is there any way out in which I can put an end to this? I don't want to come back. Coming back is misery. Coming back is sorrow. Life is so uncertain. Life is so painful. All these pleasures are transient. Existence is temporary. Bhagavan, is there a way by which I can put an end to it? Sattva will not help you. Rajas will not help you. Tamas will not help you. All the three moods are going to bind you to this world. Is there a way out? This question is answered in the next verse. Let us chant verse number 19. Nānyam gunebhyah kartaram yada drashtānupashyate gunebhyascha param vetti madbhavam sodhigacchate Nānyam gunebhyah kartaram yada drashtānupashyate gunebhyascha param vetti madbhavam sodhigacchate. Yes. So this verse talks about how to gain ultimate liberation from this birth-death cycle. This is the verse. This verse and even the next verse, 20th also. How to gain liberation. All the three moods, all the three gunas are binding. Is there a way out to come out? So therefore, to understand this, of course, we have to go to the fundamentals. So I hope you remember a little about the fundamentals of Vedanta, which we had discussed on which day? Which day? Second day. Second day we had discussed a little bit of the fundamentals of Vedanta. So what are the two principles? Consciousness and matter. What was the metaphor used? Father principle and mother principle. What is the nature of consciousness? It is Sat, Chit, Anand. It is eternal. It is blissful. It is all-pervading. It is absolute existence. It is infinite. Who is this consciousness? My own true nature. I am this consciousness. What is the blunder I have done? Instead of identifying with this consciousness, now I have identified with the body, mind, intellect, which is nothing but three gunas, because BMI is nothing but matter. What is matter? Made of 5 elements. Body is matter, mind is matter, intellect is matter. This matter is nothing but three gunas. So BMI is nothing but three gunas. So what am I supposed to do? Disidentify from what I am not and identify with what I am. This will give you liberation. Right. Now, let us see what this verse says. Before that, let me give a brief, understanding before entering into this verse. In this world, everything functions according to its nature. Everything functions according to its nature. Swabhava. What is the nature of fire? Heat and light. Why? Don't ask why. That it is nature. Full stop. Don't ask why. You will not get the answer. What is the nature of sun? Heat, light. Okay. What is the nature of sugar? Sweetness. Why? Don't ask. Right? Everything in this world has got its nature. It functions according to its nature. What is the nature of ears? It hears. That is its nature. What is the function of eyes? It sees. When water is heated, what happens to it? It boils. Why? Don't ask. Right? When I put a potato in the boiling water, what happens to it? It gets cooked, it becomes soft. Why? Don't ask. It is its nature. When I put an egg in the boiling water, what happens? It becomes hard. Why? That is its nature. Your answer should be, that is its nature. Okay? What is the function of the body? It works, activity. That is its nature. What is the function of the mind? It feels. That is its nature. What is the function of the intellect? It thinks. That is its nature. You understand? Everything has got its nature. When you sow a seed, what happens to it? It sprouts. That is its nature. In this world, everything functions according to its nature. In the same way, what is the function of consciousness? The function of consciousness is it gives sentiency. It enlivens body, mind, intellect. It gives sentiency to it. It makes it alive. What is the nature of matter? It is inert. There is no life in it. Space, it is inert. Air, inert. Fire, inert. Inert means what? It has no life. Water, inert. Earth, inert. So combination of 5 elements has to be inert. Inert plus inert should be inert. Just like darkness plus darkness should be darkness. It cannot become light. So the 5 elements are inert. Combination also should be inert. But the presence of consciousness enlivens it. So this body is made of 5 elements. It should have been inert. But why is it that this body appears to be alive? It is because of the presence of consciousness. What is the nature of consciousness? It enlivens body, mind, intellect. Enlivens means what? Enlivens means it gives sentiency. So the mind is able to feel, intellect is able to think because of consciousness. Why mind feels? Because that is his nature. Why intellect thinks? Because that is his nature. The best example is the electricity and the equipment. What is the nature of electricity? It gives energy. What is the nature of the bulb? Whenever it is energized, that energy is converted to light energy. Why? That is his nature. When this energy is provided to fan, what does it do? It rotates. Why? That is his nature. So though the energy is the same, different equipments functions according to its nature. Right? Electricity is the same. It doesn't tell the bulb to give light. It doesn't ask the fan to rotate. It just provides energy. How the energy is used, it depends upon the nature of that equipment. Isn't it? Yes. In the same way, what is the nature of consciousness? It lends sentiency. It makes things alive. Things means what? Body, mind, intellect. Now, consciousness cannot directly enliven the body. It can enliven only the mind-intellect equipment. It is the mind-intellect equipment which enlivens the body. So the root is consciousness enlivens the mind-intellect. The enlivened mind-intellect gives sentiency to the body. Just like, suppose there is a dark room with roof. Sun cannot directly enter into the room, but suppose you keep a mirror. So the sunlight falls on the mirror reflects the light into the dark room, and the dark room becomes lighted. In the same way, consciousness enlivens the mind-intellect, and the mind-intellect enlivens the body. So at the time of death, what happens? Consciousness is everywhere. At the time of death, this mind-intellect called Sukshma Sharira, it leaves the body. So when it leaves the body, what happens to the body? It is no more having the mind-intellect to become sentient. It appears dead, inert. Are you able to understand? As long as the mind-intellect is there, so long the body appears alive. But the moment the mind-intellect leaves the body falls dead. Remember, the person is not dead, the person still exists in Sukshma Sharira. This is called Sthula Sharira, gross body. Mind-intellect called Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, S-U-B-T-L-E. It is not shuttle body, it is subtle, S-U-B-T-L-E, subtle body. Sukshma Sharira and Sthula Sharira. So when a person dies with a particular desire, the body falls dead. This Sukshma Sharira waits till it gets a particular environment, a physical body, so that it can fulfill its unfulfilled desire. So really speaking, nobody dies. Only the physical body dies. But that Sukshma Sharira is still there. And the journey continues in the Sukshma Sharira. Right? Now, why am I telling all this? Consciousness gives sentiency to the mind. And how does the mind behave? The mind will behave according to the gunas present in it. If it is a sattvic mind, it will behave sattvikally. If it is a rajasic mind, it will behave rajasically. If it is a tamasic mind, it will behave tamasically. According to the guna of the mind, the body also behaves. What is the job of consciousness? It doesn't do anything, it just energizes, it just enlivens. It doesn't do anything. So who is the doer? Who is the doer? The body, the mind, the intellect. They do according to their nature. They function according to their nature. What is the role of consciousness? It doesn't do anything. So therefore, the two terms out of 15, what are the last two terms, 14th and 15th? It is akarta, non-doer, and therefore abhokta, non-enjoyer. So consciousness is akarta, consciousness is abhokta, and who is this consciousness? Ātmā, it is me. Right? It is me, my own higher nature. How does it express? Sakshi, it is a pure witness, ultimate witness. It is just witnessing what is happening. It just sees, it just witnesses. It is the observer in you, the ultimate observer in you. What is its nature? It is pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure existence. Right? But what is the blunder we have done? I, the non-doer, non-enjoyer, I, the infinite immortal consciousness, the moment I identify with the functioning BMI, what does the identification theory say? Whatever you are identified with, the properties of that you experience as though it is your property. Remember? Identification theory. What was the example given? Yes, movie theater example. So in the movie theater, you watch the movie and you cry and weep in the movie theater. Why? Because the hero is crying and weeping. Isn't it? Hero's problem is your problem. Hero's success is your success. Actually, you and hero has nothing to do. One is absolutely real, the other is absolutely unreal. So in the movie theater, because of identification, the problems of the unreal as though becomes a problem of the real person. And thus you are crying in the movie theater. Isn't it? What was the mistake you have committed in the movie theater? Because of which you have become a slave. Because of which you have no control over your emotions. The mistake you have committed is identification. You got absorbed. Now the hero is you. You think you are the hero. Hero is crying, you are crying. What is the mistake? Identification. In the same way, you, the infinite consciousness, which does nothing, which is a pure witness, which is infinite and immortal, which is Ananda Swarupa. You, the consciousness, now you are identified with the functioning BMI. It is functioning according to the gunas, the trigunas. Now because of your identification, you feel as though you are the mind. You feel as though you are the body. You feel as though you are the intellect. The moment consciousness identifies with the BMI, Jiva is born. Jīvātmā is born. Before identification, who were you? Pure Ātmā or Paramātmā. How did Paramātmā become a jīvātmā? Because of identification. So how can jīvātmā become Paramātmā? Disidentify and you are Paramātmā. The moment you identify, jīvātmā is born, ahankara is born, ego is born, and the ego is functioning because BMI is functioning. So BMI's function or activities is my activity. So I have done it, I did it, so therefore I must enjoy it. So karma is born, karta is born, bhokta is born, and lot of desires are there. I want to do this, I want to do that. Therefore, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Continue. Are you able to understand? Even if your mind is sattvic, since identification is present, this continues. Sattvic mind will have sattvic desires, and sattvic desires have to be put into action in order to get happiness, and thus this journey goes on and on and on. There is no end. So what is the solution? The solution is disidentification. How to do that? This verse says. Now what does this verse say? Yada, when. This is the turning point. When. When what? When drashta. Drashta, the seer, the witness. Gunebhyaha anyam kartaram na anupashyati. He doesn't see any other doer other than the gunas. So who is the doer? Gunas are the doer, matter is the doer, BMI is the doer. Other than this BMI, there is nobody who is doing. Yada drashta anupashyati. Anupashyati means not merely see, he realizes, experiences. Anupashyati. Then what happens to him? Gunebhyaha param veti. He comes to know that highest truth which is higher than, other than gunas. The moment he comes to know that all the things are done by the gunas only, not by consciousness, he goes beyond gunas. This is what it means. When he comes to know that everything is done by the BMI, BMI is functioning according to its nature. I, the consciousness. Now what is the term used here? Drashta. Drashta means observer. Observer means what? He is no more identified. He has stepped back. He has disidentified. And then he comes to know, Arey, I am the observer. All these BMI, all these gunas are observed. The observed thing is always different from the observer. I am the observer. These things are all observed. I have nothing to do with them. Take the example of movie theater. I have nothing to do with the hero. I am the observer. Those things are the observed. The moment I disidentify myself from the movie character, will I cry? I will not cry for his problem. Isn't it? The moment you disidentify yourself from the movie, there is peace. The joys and sorrows of the hero is not your joys and sorrows. In the same way, here, the joys and sorrows of the BMI is no more your joys and sorrows the moment you disidentify from BMI. Now the question is, how to disidentify? So at the seat of meditation, assuming that your mind is sattvic, how to make the mind sattvic, we will see later. Bhagavan himself will say. At the seat of meditation, when you sit with your closed eyes, there are only two things you will see. One is consciousness, in the light of which you are seeing your thoughts. And the second thing, thoughts. When you close your eyes, what are the two things you will experience? Number one, thoughts. Number two, consciousness, in the light of which you are aware of thoughts. Who is this consciousness? It is your higher nature. It is your true nature. It is none other than Supreme Lord. What does this thoughts represent? Thoughts represent world. Every thought is nothing but world. The world is trying to enter into you in the form of thoughts. It can be situation, it can be incidences, it can be people, it can be things, beings. They all come in the form of thoughts. The thoughts means world, consciousness means God. So what are you supposed to do at the seat of meditation? You are supposed to become a drashta. Drashta. Drashta means witness. So at the seat of meditation, you are supposed to just witness these thoughts. Never identify with the thoughts. You have a choice. Either identify with consciousness or identify with thoughts. If you are identified with thoughts, it means you are interested in the world. You are interested in the movie. If you identify with consciousness, it means you are interested in God. The rule of the game is, the moment you witness thoughts, thoughts will die. The moment you identify with thoughts, the thoughts will multiply. It's a law. Now the choice is yours. Do you want to go on with this movie? Do you want your thoughts to go on? Do you want your dream to continue? Then go ahead. Go ahead with identifying with the thoughts, which we normally do. What happens when you identify with the thoughts? The thoughts multiply and the mind starts wandering. A wandering mind is a sure sign that you are with thoughts. A wandering mind is a sure sign that you don't want God. At the seat of meditation, everything becomes clear to you. Are you interested in God or are you interested in world? If you are interested in thoughts, you are a samsari, you are interested in world. Because you are interested in samsara, therefore you are a samsari. If your attention is upon consciousness, if you are able to abide in consciousness, if you can pay attention to consciousness, you are a sannyasi. Are you able to follow? So whether you are a sannyasi or a samsari, it is not determined by your dress, your ashrama. At the seat of meditation, everything becomes plain and clear. If you are able to identify with consciousness, you are a sannyasi, though externally you may be a grihastha. If you are wandering along with the mind, you are a samsari, even though externally you may be a sannyasi. This is how Bhagavad Gita defines a sannyasi. At the seat of meditation, what is happening to you? Are you wandering with the mind? That means your mind is impure. That means you don't want God. That means you have lot of desires. Wandering mind is a sure sign that you have worldly desires. And as long as the worldly desires are there, rebirth is assured. Are you able to follow? Mind is trying to fulfill these desires. Mind is planning. All those sankalpa. The term used is sankalpa. Something of the world I want. How to get it? Where to get it? What are the ways to get it? What are the obstacles which will prevent me from getting it? That object, what are the varieties present in the world? Which one is better? Which one is cheap? This is called sankalpa. Why so much of thinking? Because I want that object. As long as want is there, desires will be there. As long as desires are there, thoughts will be there. And you will be totally identified with the thoughts. So a wandering mind is a sure sign that you are attached to the world. Which part of the world you are attached to? For that, analyze your thoughts. Where does the mind go? What are the kind of thoughts which are entertained by you? That analysis of the thoughts will show you where you are attached to, where you are addicted to. All your addiction, if you want to know, analyze your thoughts. That's all. Are you able to follow? But suppose your attention is upon consciousness. You are not interested in the thoughts. Mind is bringing so many things. You are not interested. You say, oh mind, I don't want this. And how do you express it? By remaining rooted in consciousness. By not showing any interest in what the mind brings, what the thoughts present. And as you start getting rooted in consciousness, you will find the thoughts die down. The mind comes to know, this fellow is not interested in me. Suppose a person comes and talks to you. How long will he talk? It depends on what is your... Suppose you are listening. Then what happened? Then he will go on. He will put more and more masalas, more and more details he will start explaining. Isn't it? Suppose you are not at all interested. Take the mobile. And then you are doing something. Then this fellow also understands, he is not interested. Immediately the story comes to an end. Isn't it? How long will the person talk to you depends on how much interest you are showing. This is the same law applicable at the seat of meditation also. When the mind brings something, how much of interest you are showing. To the extent you show interest, to that extent the mind will furnish details. Means what? The mind start wandering with greater intensity, with greater zeal. Now why is the mind wandering? Mind is wandering because you are encouraging the mind. Because you are interested in the contents of the mind. And what is the mind bringing? Mind is bringing the world. Therefore you are interested in the world. You are interested in the world means you are asking God, oh God, I want to be born again and again. You are asking for the world. You are saying, Bhagwan, give me a new body, new mind, new environment, so that I can experience everything more and more. So, who is asking for rebirth? You yourself. Don't blame God. He is ever present. Consciousness is ever present. It is always there. Ever ready to bless you. Bless you with infinity. Bless you with immortality. Infinite bliss is His nature. But then you don't want that. What do you want? You don't want the infinite joy of the self. You want the sattvic joy, or the rajasic joy, or the tamasic joy. Whatever you ask, Bhagavan gives. You are able to follow? So at the seat of meditation you will come to know, if the mind is not rooted in consciousness, understand, still the desires are there. And as long as the desires are there, rebirth cannot be evaded. So the moment this person does this meditation perfectly, how to do the meditation? Be a drashta, be a witness, be an uninterested observer. God is nowhere, He is right here, He is the very consciousness. Pay attention to consciousness. When you are paying attention to consciousness, you are disidentifying yourself from the BMI, the trigunas, and then you go beyond the trigunas. What happens when you disidentify? Jiva bhava is dead. Ego is dead. When the ego is dead, there is no more any karta. And when there is no karta, there is no bhokta also. Finished. Job is over. Ahankara is dead. What is your experience then? Now that you are identified with consciousness, what is the nature of consciousness? It is Sat, Chit, Anand. What do you experience? You experience Anand. Remember, this is not Sattvika Sukha. It is Ātmā Sukha. Your desire is to be happy and you are getting infinite happiness in yourself. Such a mind, will it have any desire? Once you are experiencing that joy, that bliss in yourself, will you have any desire? You cannot. And since you become desireless, the possibility of rebirth ends. As long as desires are there, rebirth is there. But now what is your state? You are desireless. Why you are desireless? Because your desire was to be happy. That happiness you are getting it right in yourself. As yourself, you come to know that happiness and peace and bliss is your own nature. You don't need the world for it. You come to know that the world is not needed to gain the happiness. Since now you have no more interest in the world, no more world is provided for you. No more equipments are provided for you. No more environment is provided for you to gain happiness. Are you able to understand? That is called liberation. This birth-death cycle comes to an end. Because you don't ask anything. Why you don't ask anything? Because you know you have everything. Whatever you crave for, immortality, I crave for. Where do you get it? You get it in Ātmā, the self. Because its nature is existence. It can never become non-existent. So you experience a state of immortality. You experience a state of absolute security. You experience a state of perfection. Everything in yourself. You don't need a mind to experience it. You don't need a body to experience it. You don't need an environment to experience it. So since you become desireless, so therefore there is no more any need to come back. Right? This is called liberation. Going beyond sattva. The same thing is mentioned in the next verse. Let us chant verse number 20. Gunanetanatetyattrin Dehi deha samudbhavan Janma mrityu jara dukkhaihi Vimuktomritamashnuте Gunanetanatetyattrin Dehi deha samudbhavan Janma mrityu mrityujara dukkhaihi vimuktomritamashnuте. Yes. This Dehi, the possessor of Deha is called Dehi. How did the name come to this body as Deha? Dih means to burn. The one which has to be burned ultimately. Deha means what? Something which has to be burned ultimately. Dih. So Dehi, the possessor of Deha is called Dehi. How did he get this body, Deha? It is because of Gunan. Because of all these gunas. So therefore it is said, Deha samudbhavan etan trin gunan. See the adjectives of this guna. These gunas, which is the cause of giving birth to this body. This body exists because of 3 gunas. Out of these 3 gunas, the body has come forth. Samudbhavan. What has he done? Etan trin gunan atitya. Going beyond. When he has gone beyond the 3 gunas, when he has gone beyond the BMI, what has happened to him? Janma mrityu jara dukkhaihi vimuktaha. Vimuktaha, free from. Free from what? Janma mrityu jara. Janma means birth. Mrityu means death. Jara means old age. These are unavoidable once you are born. Janma is painful, Jara is painful, Mrityu is painful. Therefore it is said, Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkhaihi Vimuktaha. He is free from the sorrows of the birth, old age and death. How did he go beyond this? By going beyond the 3 gunas. And what is the experience? Amrutam ashnute. He attains amrutam, the state of immortality. The state of immortality. There is a saying, apraptaschet praptavyam, praptaschet jnatavyam. If there is something which you don't have, then you have to get it. I want to become the chief minister, the prime minister, the president of this country. This you are not. You have to work hard for it. Isn't it? But suppose praptasya, suppose you already have it, then you have to just know it. Praptaschet jnatavyam. What about this consciousness? Is it something which you don't have and then you have to work hard to get it? No, it is already there. Every one of us, we are Satchit Ananda, it is already there. Consciousness is waiting to be revealed. But alas, what is alas? It is ever available, but we have no interest at all for it. And since we have ignored it, we feel as though it is not there. We have disregarded it. We have ignored it. Therefore, the experience of fullness, which is our nature, the experience of perfection, which is our nature, this experience doesn't come to us. Experience doesn't come to us not because the thing is not there. Experience doesn't come to us because we have not put sufficient effort to discover it. It is there. The whole of spirituality is about discover that which you already are. Know yourself. It is always there. Such a wonderful thing is there. Everybody can attain it. Irrespective of your religion, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your nationality, irrespective of your caste, everybody is none other than consciousness. The scriptural advice is, please pay attention to who you are. Try to know who you are. And all your miseries in life will end. Now Arjuna asks a question. What is the question? Now Arjuna is fully inspired. There are people who have attained that? Yes. Now Arjuna's question is, Bhagavan, what is the characteristic of such a person? Such a person is called trigunātītaha, the one who has gone beyond triguna. Such a perfected man, such a God man on earth. What are his characteristics? What is his nature? And Bhagavan, can you tell me how to become a trigunātīta? These are the questions which Arjuna will ask, that we will see tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.